Someone actually said that they felt it when I was removing parts from Mrs. Potato Head. And she's just here this morning to just show you that she has forgiven me for that. But it just made me think about feelings. You know, that whole thing, that how it is that we feel and how much of our lives are governed by the way it is that we feel. But if you're anything like me, or so many other people, that in this season, there have been a whole range of emotions and feelings. And I did a search to try and find out, what are feelings? What's the purpose of feelings exactly? And one of the things that came up was that they are expressions of our body. They are how it is that we think about a particular situation and a particular person, a particular circumstance. And the feelings are how it is that we contain that and how it is that we express that. Now, there are times where it is that you feel angry, you feel sad, you feel excited, you feel down. There are just so many feelings that we probably go through in short periods of time. I want to ask you the question, so how are you feeling today? When I came out of hospital and people were asking me how I was feeling, I actually didn't understand what it was that they meant. And so I kept saying, with both hands. Because there was a time where I couldn't feel with both hands. So when they were asking me how I was feeling, I thought that's what it was that they meant. Because I couldn't quite process, this whole feeling thing. Because for me, a lot of feeling was about love. You know, I felt loved. I felt I was loved. I loved everybody. But those feelings often get us into trouble. Or into situations, I'll change that, into situations that we would rather not be in. And I want to say to you that I believe that feelings are a wonderful barometer. They tell us where we are. They tell us what's going on. They tell us the current climate. They tell us the situation. But we should never, and I'm going to say that again, we should never use them as a compass. And too many of us chart our course based on how we're feeling. So I woke up this morning and I'm feeling, it's a bad day. Right, okay. I'm walking through this day as a bad day because that's how it is I'm feeling. And there's something really great about the world, about the universe, that actually it supports our feelings. Because if that's what you're feeling, okay, let's go with that. That we had a bad experience with somebody and now we have a feeling of animosity. We have a feeling of anger towards them. And that's how it is that we show up. And we chart our course from that place. That we say things like he upset me. They annoyed me. They made me angry. No, they didn't. They did actions and you chose your response. And I'm not saying that you don't get angry or, annoyed or any of those things, but actually that's a choice that we are making. And so therefore we can choose a different response. Or if we choose that response, we don't have to live in that response. And what I've discovered is that there is a difference between feelings and emotions and things that happen. They are separate. And I'll give you an example. Last year, there was a call out for African or Caribbean people to attend a photo shoot. And I thought, I haven't done one of those. I'll go and I'll do that. And it was a time where it was that I hadn't really left the house. So this was the longest bus ride on my own that I had done. I mean, it wasn't far. It was just down the road, really. But because I hadn't been out, it was a new thing. And as I got off the bus and I was looking for the place where I was told to go, and I suddenly thought, oh my gosh, this could be what it is that people call fear. Because here I was in a place that I didn't know. I was going to a location I hadn't been before. I was going to meet someone I didn't know. And I was going to do something I hadn't done before. And in that the emotion with that could be fear, worry, anxiety. But for me, it was adventure and excitement. And in that moment, I realized that, oh my gosh, it's the label. Feelings in some ways are like labels that we put on things, and then it takes on the persona of the label that we've put on it. So an event happens. We think, oh my gosh, that's similar to another event and that's scary. Okay, I'm going to attach that label to it, and then that thing takes on the persona, and that's how it is that we live through it. But we could equally label it something else, and that be the emotion it is that we live through it. And so that whole thing about actually being conscious of your feelings and know that you have the power to change it, to make it something different, or the power to not live there, to know that actually in this moment, I'm feeling this. I mean, the great emotions, actually don't change those, keep those. But those emotions that keep you stuck, keep you bound, or keep you wanting to go back, actually, those are the ones to acknowledge, because feeling is important. Like I was saying, it's the expression of your body. So feeling is really important. But don't live in those feelings that are preventing you from moving forward. Don't live in those feelings that are limiting your capacity and your ability to do things. Don't live there. And if you find that those are overwhelming, then don't sit in it. Talk to somebody, reach out. I always say to people, if you are having a pity party, you know, that whole poor me, you know, it's really terrible. It always happens to me. Oh my gosh. And you invite somebody and they come to your pity party and tell you, yeah, that's kind of like really terrible. And you know what? You don't know what happened to me. That happened to me. And it's actually, you need to move those people somewhere else in your life, because nobody, if you're going to have a pity party, have it by yourself, because you're not living there. If you invite somebody in and they come, then actually you're going to stay there for a lot longer, because parties like that seem to take hours, days, months, years. We have control of our emotions, because the emotions all begin with the thoughts up here, that we have to think it first before we feel it. The feeling doesn't just suddenly miraculously appear. There are some thoughts that are going through our mind that are corresponding with that allow that to happen. And I'm saying to you, it's not about not having those thoughts, because that would be crazy to actually say, no, I can't, or I'm going to pretend that isn't there. No, actually feel the feeling, but keep moving, and know that you have the power over your feelings. You don't have the power over the person next to you's feelings. You can't determine how it is that they're going to receive something, how it is that they're going to deal with it, etc., etc. But you have the power over how it is that you deal with it. And in this season now, when the emotions are rife, we've heard so many stories of people being abused, that the emotions in that space is just too much, and people are unable to manage it and navigate their way through it. And so that is very real. But I'm still saying to you that even in that you've got the power over yourself. And so it's really looking at how it is that you can navigate this with your emotions, your mind intact. If you feel angry at somebody, let it out. And I don't mean let it out in terms of punching the person, because that would be wrong. That would be violent. But just find the way to navigate your way through it. And whatever it is for you is going to be different from the person that's next to you. But it's that whole thing about actually owning it and moving through it. Because feelings are great. We all feel. In fact, we feel because we're human beings. Mind you, having said that, animals feel too. They just feel differently. But feelings are so much part of who it is that we are. So much part of us being alive and vibrant. And so it's not about stifling those feelings. It's just about not charting your course based on them. And I say that because in one day, or in an hour even, that you can have a whole range of different emotions, different feelings. And if you charted your course based on each one of those emotions, you'd be more confused than ever. You know, you'd be going to and fro, up and down, round in circles. No. In fact, actually, one feeling, I think that actually, if you charge your course based on that feeling and that feeling alone, it'd be awesome. Love. The most powerful force in the universe being love. If you charted your course based on that, so whether that is that you love yourself, you love what you do, you're loving others, if you charted your course in that way, that would be amazing, because you would see shifts in your world. You would see shifts in yourself. You would have a greater impact in wherever it is that you show up, because actually you're operating out of love. So yeah, that's it. Actually make that be your driving force. The fact that you love yourself, and it's not about being selfish, it's about being self-full. Because if you love yourself and you are full, then every time it is that you show up with an overflow that shows up in situations, shows up in circumstances, shows up in other people. Because when it is that they annoy you and you feel the anger coming in, you allow the anger to come in and leave, because you're operating from love. So you're acknowledging it, but you're allowing it to leave. It's a bit like, I guess, mindfulness of a feeling type of mindfulness. Yes, or maybe that's a new thing. That actually you allow it to be there because it's arrived. And I'm not sure that stopping it would be a full expression of yourself. So allow it, if it's coming, allow it to come. So things like, if it is that you are tearful, then cry. Because the only way through it is to do it. Oh, and if it is that you have got tears, remember that there are 38 toxins in each tear. So you're detoxing at the same time. So there is power in that too. But just allowing it to come, and then allowing it to go, because that's not where it is that you live. So it's acknowledging your feelings because you value you and you love you, acknowledging your feelings. And then that works in the same way as that when it is that somebody's angry, annoyed, whatever it is that's going on for them, you may not think it was warranted. You may not think that that was the right response. Actually, it doesn't matter what it is that you think in that sense, because that's their experience and that's how it is that they are feeling. So it's that whole thing about acknowledging their feelings also, but recognizing that this is not where it is that you live or where it is that they live, and that just helping them to navigate their way through it, because everything else is on the other side of those things. Yeah. Love's a driving force, but feelings are a wonderful barometer. We should never use them as a compass. Hey guys, I'm just sending you love from my heart to yours.